One has to think after the Shohei Ohtani deal came together that the dominoes across MLB free agency have to start falling here in the next few days, next few weeks. You got to start seeing some signings and some movement across free agency in Major League Baseball. And one of those cogs in the machine that's going to be a major talking point across all of MLB is Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery, obviously a big key piece to making that playoff push and in the postseason success that led the Texas Rangers to a World Series championship, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, can you say it one more time?
A World Series championship.
World Series champions, yes,
sir.
A
World Series, not an American League champ, not a American League divisional series. No, World Series
I think,
championship.
and I know where you're going to go with this, but Chris Young being aggressive as he is, I don't think this World Series champ satisfied him. I think he wants more. But continue.
It clearly didn't. So, can the Rangers even make it to 90 wins again without bringing back one of the key cogs of the machine in Jordan Montgomery? And I ask that kind of as a loaded question because
load me up.
I think it's possible that they still do it. That they can still win because Nathan Eovaldi is healthy. And you're getting a presumably healthy Max Scherzer back. You hope to get Jacob deGrom later in the season. But Jordan Montgomery was healthy his whole time after the trade deadline, and he was consistent. In his time with Texas, he was 4-2 with a 2.79 earn run average. He was just absolutely fantastic. You knew you were going to get your quality 6-inning start, if not more, out of Monty. And the reason I'm asking this question is because we got some reporting over the weekend from Ken Rosenthal that the Rangers might be out on Jordan Montgomery because of the uncertainty surrounding their future TV deal and the near future of that TV deal, because there's been all the different rumors of, hey, Bally Sports Southwest might bail this season, which means you would have the league retaking over streaming rights for the Texas Rangers, meaning a lot less money going to the Rangers' pockets. And there was a piece out there, I want to say it might have been Front Office Sports, that I was looking at over the weekend that broke down the media rights and the money that each team gets from the RSNs and everything per season. And the Texas Rangers last year got millions upon millions. I think they were in the top 5 in the league in terms of the money that they got directly from TV revenue. And it was something wild, like $100 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. This is a team that has a higher payroll now because of the additions that they made before each of the past 2 seasons and during the season with the trade deadline. They added on some salary. Obviously, they shaved some of it off with New York covering some of Max Scherzer's deal, a lot of Max Scherzer's deal, so on and so forth. But Jordan Montgomery is going to be a guy that's likely going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of $125 million. You're going to look at something like $27 to $30 million per year, maybe. And especially if Yamamoto signs before him, you could see that number kind of inflate. I think it's a little bit unfair because Yamamoto is an international appeal, so he's going to get more money because of that, because of the marketing opportunities. But if high-end starters are getting more than we expected this offseason, that trend shouldn't stop with the Jordan Montgomery and any team that wants to sign him. A lot of the big contenders have shown interest in him. You've seen Boston show interest. You've seen other teams like the Giants. Pretty much any contender that needs pitching has shown interest in a Jordan Montgomery. And with Ken Rosenthal's reporting, it got me wondering if they can't bring him back in the way that this winter has played out so far. For the Rangers, they haven't done really anything. They brought in one reliever, and that's about it.
And let Will Smith go.
Will Smith has just walked somewhere else. Chris Stratton today agreed to a deal, I believe. I want to say it was with the Royals. I had the details. I will pull those up and correct myself if need be. But Chris Stratton is leaving. And look, those are not leverage guys. Those are guys that were pure depth, and you hope to not really need. Yes, it is the Kansas City Royals that are finalizing a deal with Chris Stratton.
It took both our boys. It took Will and Stratton.
As of earlier today. So you're losing these depth pieces. You're not really doing too much right now, even though I have said I think that the Rangers will make a trade before they make a big signing, just because they can negotiate, hey, can y'all cover some of this money if we throw in an extra
I'm in the
prospect?
same headspace. I don't think that they're rushing to get one of these guys because they're in front of the 8-ball. They just won. They have all the pieces, and a lot of their guys are on the backside of contracts. So like you said, they have tradable pieces. They have some front-loaded contracts where there's some big money tied up in some guys. Like, hey, would you want this guy versus adding to the books and just signing another guy? Now, I do think getting Montgomery back would be less stressful because you already know that he's been able to help you in the postseason. You've seen what he's done rather than getting another guy in your system that you kind of have to integrate into the system and whatnot. I would, love Yamamoto, but do you think the Rangers need to have a splash signing? We kind of did that last offseason. So I think, especially in this microwave kind of MLB and sports in general that we're in, we want constant dopamine. We want a new signing, a new trade, and this big player to go to your team. And then you realize, hey, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of getting adjusted to. And that's why I think having a guy like Montgomery back would be easier. But Chris Young and them boys and Bochy, they know what they're doing. You don't win a World Series by just guessing on players. Some of the highest players on our payroll didn't even play with DeGrom. So sometimes just getting the highest name out there isn't always the best deal. And, Montgomery, how old is he right now? He's getting up there. I don't think he's a young gun. Jordan Montgomery.
I thought he was on the younger side.
Let's see. He looks beautiful. 30. Yeah, so he's about, for a pitcher, he's on the kind of that middling.
Yeah, he's in like the prime of his career.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why teams are going to be aggressive with him, because they know that they can lock him down for the rest of his good years, presumably. And he really hasn't had any stretch in his career where he's been necessarily bad. This year was just the coming out party. From the 945, CY will do his job. I like that faith.
Yep.
The 945 saying they only use 3 relievers in the postseason pretty much. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
That obviously
we had some insane reliever innings in the postseason that I don't think anyone saw. We're like, oh, okay, wow, he's pitching a lot and almost throwing a shutout.
Yeah, I did not think that Josh Spores was going to come in for 2 innings to close out the clinching game.
Mariano Rivera.
I did not expect that. I thought it was going to be Spores Leclerc, and it was just, no, he's pitching well, get back out there kind of thing. So, look, it worked this season, but I don't think it's sustainable. And I think it's the same 945. Will Smith could barely pitch. We are good. And, look, I said earlier at the beginning of the segment that these are not major names. It's just you're losing more than you're adding right now.
Yeah, we do have one problem to look up, though. Will Smith, every team he's gone to has won the World Series. 2021, Atlanta Braves, Will Smith. 2022, Houston Astros.
Yep.
2023, Rangers. And now he's on the Royals, so
the Royals aren't doing anything.
I don't know. Is the curse broken? But
they're not doing anything this year. I'm not even going to feed your ego there. I'm not. I refuse.
Bobby Witt Jr. and Will Smith going to the World Series, baby. Okay.
Said no one ever.
I'll feed into it. Why not?
From the 817, is Clayton Kershaw a consideration? Absolutely. And you know why? Because he's already made it very clear and obvious there are only 2 teams in Major League Baseball he would play for. The LA Dodgers, the only team he has ever known, and the Texas Rangers.
Grew up here.
Obviously, there's concerns with he just got shoulder surgery. He is old. He wasn't exactly great in the playoffs last year. There's a lot of variables there, and he said on Instagram at the beginning of November, I think, he said that he hopes to be back next summer, so he wouldn't even be available the first week of the season and the first couple months. So that might be a good thing, though, because I've heard Mike Bassick talk about, hey, what if he was fully healthy, you brought him in, and you just said, we're not even going to play you until June. Because we want to get the most consistency out of you. And he was great at the beginning of the season. He looked like vintage Clayton Kershaw. And then what happened as the season dwindled on? He got hurt. And then after he got hurt, he could not do anything in the postseason.
And we already have, not talking about postseason success, but we already have 2 of those guys on our team with Scherzer and DeGrom that are 35 and 39. Do you want to really put a lot of resources into another 35-year-old expensive pitcher? I think,
it's a fair critique.
Yeah, you might want to go on maybe the younger side or even kind of stick it out with some other guys that are in your farm system. So I personally wouldn't go out and get Clayton Kershaw, but that's on CY seeing if he thinks our windows right now. But I think the Rangers, the good thing is they have a lot of good young talent. I think you keep building upon that. is you already have some older, expensive pitchers on your payroll. So it'll be interesting to see what CY does, but I think he's taking his time, letting the field kind of play out. And I trust him. I will say that. That's the good thing right now is I trust him that he'll make the right decision, whatever that is.
From the 817, Monty is key to our continued future success.
Agreed, man.
I fall in love in pro sports with consistency and availability. He was both of those for the Rangers in a very small sample size. I get that coming over at the trade deadline, but he gives you exactly what you need from a starter. He'll give you 6 to 7 innings, sometimes 8.
Which is
each
great.
night. He's going to give up 3 or less more times than not, and more times than not, probably 2 or less. He is fantastic. He is durable. He is everything you want, and that's everything that contenders want too. So it might get difficult in the bidding war per se, but all that being said, there are other options. You know, there's other moves that Chris Young and Ray Davis could make that could still help this team and help them be good. Would it be sustainable for playoff success? None of us know. It's projections. Season. It's projection.
Projection.
But there are trades to be made. As we mentioned, we think that they could make a trade before they make a key signing. I mean, Dylan Cease is still available in Chicago. And I saw, I want to say it was Bally Sports reporting a few weeks ago.
Can we trust them?
I trust their people. I just don't trust their business aspect.
No, we love their people, but the corporate side.
I saw some reporting that there was belief around Major League Baseball that the Rangers could use Justin Foscue as a trade piece. Shocker. But that coming up at this time, and I see Dylan Cease available on the market, that makes me think that's why this reporting is coming out. So I think Dylan Cease would be a great option if you want to go replace a Jordan Montgomery without having to pay a dude $100 million.
Yep.
Tyler Glasnow is available in Tampa Bay. I think that would probably be equally as difficult of a deal to make because, 1, he has injury history, and 2, he's just that damn good. And the Dodgers have already shown interest in him, so you might not get him because they'll say, hey, here's $500 million, we'll defer it across 25 years. We'll use Afterpay on it, and we'll be fine. So,
I said Cowboys. I was reading the fan text. Rangers are 5th in 2024 payroll with $191,888,000. 5th on the list with the Mets, Phillies, Yankees, and Braves all ahead of them. Astros and Cubs and Cardinals, Padres, Red Sox below them. So they're right at that top of the list, but there's still some teams spending some more dollars. So as much as it seems like we're blowing it out of proportion, they still got room to kind of go up or down, but 5th on the list isn't too bad with the World Series banner behind it. So we'll see if they keep spending or, like me and Alex said, if they make a trade and try to move on or off some money.
Let's see, from the 469, would you want to see Jack Leiter in the bullpen?
Is it Leiter or Leader?
Leiter.
I
say no, honestly. I don't, because I'm scared of the development. You haven't heard amazing things, which you're not really supposed to, but at the same time, when you pay them that much money coming out of college, you kind of expect things to pick up a little bit at some point. You start hearing some like, hey, he's looking real nice. Now, it's been a little bit shaky for him, but I want to trust the development enough that he'll still be a starter because I think you're going to find yourself when Nathan Eovaldi's contract comes up, when John Gray's contract comes up in a couple of years. You're going to need guys that have team control. I want Leiter to be a starter. Yeah. Personally, I think he needs to stay there. So there you have it. A bit of a conversation about the Texas Rangers because they're World Series champions. So we're going to be talking about them all off season because we can, and we're the home of the Rangers. 105.3 The Fan.